Hi everybody, here is your lesson for 8.5, special product and factoring. So kind of like the last lesson where there was like this special equation we could use, we have that today as well. I think this one's even easier probably, so hopefully you enjoy this one. All right, so our equation today, first of all, this is from pages 212 to 213. Feel free to jot in the date if you want on this note sheet. But our equation looks like this. If I have a number plus a number, and then that same number minus another number, that equals a squared minus b squared. That is always our form. Now we can go both ways with this because remember that this has an equal sign between it. So if I have a perfect square minus another perfect square, it can get turned back into this form. Kind of nice. All right, let's go through some of the vocab. We're going to divide this up over 2 days. This is called the difference of two squares. Hopefully difference makes sense because difference means subtract. And it's of two squares because they are perfect squares. So here's our form again. And let's go ahead and write an example problem down there. Now let me get my recording thing out of the way. All right, let's write an example. So if I have, so let's write it in this form. If I have a plus 2 here for an addition, now it's having the same numbers or variables here times a minus 2, that would be a, so whatever's in my a position, which is an a, so a squared, and whatever's in my b position, which is a 2, to forget that it says negative 2 on the second one, we square 2, which would give me 4, and it's always subtraction between them. So that's my answer. You square what is in the A position, you square what is in the B position, and you write it down. So pretty easy. I got 6 examples for you. Here we go. I have our form written above, and then I have the trick, so here's our form, and here's what it equals. Now, I want to first show you before we use the special equation that you could FOIL this. And if you FOIL it, you're going to get the same answer as using the equation. So first, my proof is that you can FOIL it. Now, to be honest, you could FOIL all of these if that is your preferred method, but there is a shorter trick. So my first binomial is c and 14, and my second binomial is c and negative 14. So let's go ahead and multiply this. So I'd have c squared, 14c, negative 14c, and 14 squared is, I don't know, I gotta grab a calculator. 14 squared is 196. All right, we got it. So then these middle terms, when it's like this, always cancel, and that's why my final answer is only 2, because a negative 14 and a 14 will cancel, so my final answer should be c squared minus 196. All right, let's see if we use the trick to do that. All right, in my A position, I have a c. c squared is c squared, and in my B position, I got a 14, and 14 squared is 196. And again, it is always subtraction between them. That is my final answer. If you want to do this whole FOIL method to check stuff out, you are welcome to. But again, you just square what's in the A position, then square what's in the B position, and that will give you your answer. All right, number 2. Let's just use the trick. So I have A, this is my A position, and my B, and my A and my B, and this matches. There's a minus and a plus. Now, if it wouldn't be, if it was plus plus or minus minus, this trick doesn't work. The first binomial, or one of the 2 binomials has to be addition, and the other one has to be subtraction. They could be flipped, but they have to be one of each. All right, so in my A position, I have an n. N squared is n squared. In my B position, I have an 11. 11 squared is 121, and it is always subtraction between them. And if you want some proof, FOIL it. Number 3. All right, so this one's a little different. I got a negative integer in my A position. So in my A position, I've got negative d, and in my B position, I've got a 1. All right, so negative d squared is either going to be negative d squared or d squared? Let's figure it out. It says negative d times negative d. A negative times itself makes, or a negative times another negative makes a positive, so this is actually going to be d squared. So in my A position, I've got d, so d squared, and in my B position, I have a 1, and that's kind of weird. 1 squared is 1. Ooh, I got a mistake here. Let's fix that. And it should always be subtraction. So I have d squared minus 1. See if I made the mistake on the next slide. No, I did. So let's go ahead and fix that right away. So this should be subtraction. So let's fix it. All right. So in my A position, now I got a variable on it. That's okay. In my A position, first I check, I got addition, I've got subtraction. They're the same numbers in the position. So in my A position, I have 7x. So 7x, and I need to square that whole thing, would be 49x squared. So my A squared is 49x squared, subtraction sign. In my B position, I've got a 9y, and I need to square that, and that squared applies to both. So I have 81y squared. Final answer. Again, you want to check it? Do FOIL, or do box method. All right, this one I wrote right. All right, so in my A position, first I should check it, I suppose. I've got addition, I've got subtraction. They end up being the same things in the positions. I can use my trick. In my A position, I have an A, and in my B position, I have a 0.3h, which is no big deal. So let's just square those. So A I can do without much work. A squared is A squared, minus sign. Now I have a 0.3h in my B position, and I need to square it. So if I square 0.3, that's 0.3 times 0.3. So I need 2 decimal places in my answer. That's 0.09. Use a calculator if you're confused. Square your h. So I have 0.09h squared in my B position. All right, last problem. I have fractions. No biggie, we can do this. So I double check, it's addition, it's subtraction. I've got 1/5 W both places and 3/7 K both places. Perfect. So let's go ahead and do the work. So I need to take 1/5 W and square it. Now to square it, I apply the squared to the numerator, the denominator, and the W. So let's do that. 1 squared is 1. 5 squared is 25. W squared is W squared. So in my A position, I have 1/25 W squared minus, all right, let's do what's in our B position. I have 3/7 K, and I need to square the whole thing. And again, the square goes to the 3, the 7, and the K. So 3 squared is 9, 7 squared is 49, K squared is K squared. That would be my B. So 9/49 K squared. Final answer. Let me know if you have any questions regarding any of this. Hopefully you like this. And again, one more time, if you get confused and you see that there's 2 binomials and you just need to multiply them, totally use FOIL or the box method. Good luck, everybody. Talk to you soon, I hope.